We're just waiting for 2 more staff members and 1 more person to join us in this. 1 more staff member. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Sarah Smith's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda as it has been set and publicly noticed. And here it is on the screen for us, just in case. I'm pleased to call this meeting of the Sarah Smith's Go Team to order. I will act in the capacity of interim Go Team Chair for this meeting. Our first order of business is to call roll. Dr. Derrickson.
Here.
Will serve as the interim secretary only for this meeting. Our official secretary for the 2023-2024 school year will be elected during this meeting. The interim secretary will now take the role. So you can just.
So, which one is?
I can do it too. Just,
yeah.
BJ Osby. Ben Miller, no, not Ben. Jennifer Chestnut. Carla Lamar.
Here.
Ann Minton. Okay. The remaining seats are to be filled.
Yeah.
The team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Is there a quorum present? Our first order of business is to approve the agenda. This was provided to you and it's on the screen as well. May I have a motion to approve the agenda? A second? Are there any amendments to the agenda? All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand so the secretary can record your vote. Any abstentions? Thank you. We will now move to filling vacant seats. Let me make sure. Okay. We will now move to filling vacant seats, the open community member seat and the open swing seat. We actually have 2 community member seats. Before we begin the process, I'd like to remind the Go Team of the following. The principal brings forth the nominations for the vacant and open community seats. All Go Team members have only 1 vote per seat. Individuals filling a vacant seat will serve until the conclusion of that seat's term. individuals filling an open seat will serve for the full 2-year term. Upon approval, individuals are immediately full Go Team members and may join the meeting. We will begin by filling our vacant seats. These are the seats which were vacated prior to the end of the term. I have the following nominations for our Go Team, vacant seat, and my rationale for their nomination. The first, I nominate LaQuisha Smith to fill the vacant position of community seat. Does anyone have any comments or discussion about this nominee? LaQuisha Smith has been a long time volunteer at the school. She's worked in PTO. She's worked with Friends Helping Friends and a number of different organizations around the school, and we'll be happy to have her. So does anyone have any comments or discussion about this nominee? Okay, thanks for your feedback. We will now vote on the nomination of LaQuisha Smith for the position of community seat. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okay, it's time to note how everyone voted. Now we will move to fill the open community member seat. This person will serve on the Go Team for a full 2-year term. I nominate Ben Miller to fill the open community member seat. Does anyone have any comments or discussions about this nominee? And Ben Miller was on the Go Team last year, Go Team chair. He ended his term, and so he's able to do 2 more years. I approached him because he was a lot of help last year, and he was willing to continue moving forward. No feedback? Thank you. We will now proceed to vote on the nomination of Ben Miller for the community member seat. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. It was unanimous. So now we will move to fill the open swing seat. This person will serve on the Go Team for a full 2-year term. Nominations for the swing seat member may be made by any Go Team member. Does anyone have a nomination for the swing seat? I nominate Andrea Mario, teacher at the school, parent in the community, for the swing seat.
AMARIO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, PCO.
I see. No other. Thank you for your nominations. We will now proceed to vote to fill the swing seat. Before we begin with voting, does anyone have any comments or discussions about the nominee?
So I am a new teacher, but I'm also a third grade system here. There's my project team. So
All right, we will now proceed to vote on the nomination of Andrea Mario for the swing seat. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Okay. Unanimous. All right, so welcome to the Go Team. Finding members. And now we will move on to, we will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting, which occurred in April of last year. He's coming. Just one moment while I pull up the minutes to share. Okay, we will review and approve the meeting minutes from our last meeting. The minutes have been provided to you. Are there any corrections? Okay, if there are no corrections, may I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes? Thank you. A second? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Thank you. All opposed, please say nay or raise your hands. All right. Not sure. Okay, now we will move to the election of Go Team officers and representatives. We will now move to electing Go Team officers and representatives. Before we begin the nominations, I'd like to remind the Go Team of the following. Nominations do not have to be seconded. A member may nominate themselves. A member may nominate more than one person for any position. A member may decline a nomination during the nomination process. Members may not serve more than 2 consecutive terms in the same officer position at the same school. Nominees do not have to leave the room during the process. If there is more than one nominee for elected office, each nominee will be offered an opportunity to share why they should be elected to the seat. The newly elected officers will assume their positions starting at the conclusion of this meeting and serve for 1 year or until the new officer is elected. All voting members have only 1 vote per seat. First, we will elect the Go Team's chair. As a reminder, the responsibilities of the chair include, but are not limited to, leading Go Team meetings, working with the principal and Go Team to develop meeting agendas, ensuring every Go Team member has an opportunity to be heard, monitoring team compliance. I will now receive chair nominations. Members may not serve more than 2 consecutive terms in the same office or position. So 2 consecutive terms. Well, then it also says the newly elected officers. So what was the question? I'm sorry.
So if it's more, they can,
Mhm.
or is it?
2 consecutive terms.
I nominate Ben Miller.
Right, it doesn't have to be except no second, it's all good. Let me just say, I hate reading through this, but this is so not the more. No, I have to do it. I'm the interim chair. Okay, so he accepted. I'll read the formal part. Would any of the nominees like to decline the nomination? If there are no further nominations, I will close the floor. We will begin the confirmation process. We have one person being considered for the chair seat. The nomination for chair is Ben Miller. At this time, I will offer each chair nominee an opportunity to explain why they are the best candidate for the position. Other Go Team members may ask the nominee questions before voting. All right? And since there's just one, everyone that votes for Ben Miller, please raise your hand for your choice of Go Team chair. All right? Thank you. Congratulations, Ben Miller. You will serve as the Go Team chair for this school year. Now we will elect the Go Team's vice chair. As a reminder, the responsibilities of the vice chair include, but are not limited to, ensuring the Go Team follows parliamentary procedure, working with the principal and chair to develop meeting agendas, acting as chair if the chair is not present. I will now open the floor to receive vice chair nominations. Thank you. If there are no further nominations, I will close the floor. We will begin the confirmation process. We have one person being considered for the vice chair. The nomination for the vice chair is BJ Osby. At this time, I will offer BJ an opportunity to explain why he is the best candidate for the position. Other Go Team members may ask the nominees questions before voting. Any more questions? Please raise your hand to vote for BJ Osby as vice chair of our Go Team. All right, thank you. It was unanimous. Congratulations, BJ Osby. You will serve as the Go Team Vice Chair for the school year. Now we will elect the Go Team Secretary. As a reminder, the responsibilities of the secretary include, but are not limited to, posting Go Team documents, agendas, summaries, and minutes to the website and at the school, taking minutes at Go Team meetings, ensuring the Go Team is in compliance with the Georgia open meeting laws. I will now open the floor to receive secretary nominations.
I'd like to.
Excellent. If there are no further nominations, I will close the floor. We will begin the confirmation process. We have one person being considered for the secretary seat. The nomination for the secretary seat is Ann Mittman. At this time, I will offer each secretary to explain why they are the best candidate for the position. Other Go Team members may ask the nominee questions before voting.
I think I did it better because I'm pretty thorough in my note taking. I can make sure that all the compliance things are being followed. And the vice chair and the chair and taking.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Enos. Please raise your hand to vote for Ann Mittman as secretary of our Go Team. Any abstentions? Thank you. Congratulations, Ms. Mittman. You will serve as the Go Team secretary for this school year. Now we will elect the Go Team's cluster representative. Cluster representatives may also hold another officer position, chair, vice chair, or secretary. As a reminder, the responsibilities of the cluster representative include, but are not limited to, attending all cluster advisory team meetings, which are approximately 3, reporting back to the Go Team on the cluster advisory team meeting. Those are the 2 main duties. So I will now open the floor to receive cluster representative nominations. They're in the evening. They're usually around what, 5 or 6? And they're 3 a year. And I think we done, were they on Zoom? All of them were on Zoom last year?
I'd be happy.
Katie, you've attended the cluster meetings? Katie Barnes?
Yes, I have. The cluster meetings are pretty interesting. Like you said, I think there's about 3 a year and they're usually on Zoom. So if you're interested, especially if you have children at Sarah Smith and you're interested in middle school and high school in the cluster, it's a great role to have.
All right, thank you. I will now open the floor to receive cluster representative nominations. Nope, sorry, you have that. If there are no further nominations, I will close the floor. We will begin the confirmation process. We have one person. Oh, okay. Thank you. So the nomination for cluster representatives are Ann Mittman and Dr. Derrickson. At this time, I will offer each cluster representative nominee an opportunity to explain why they are the best candidate for the position. Other Go Team members may ask the nominees questions before voting. So, Ms. Mittman?
Excuse me, Principal Hudson, before you move forward, there may be some people in the waiting room.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to our guests and all the guests joining us on Zoom and in person. So at this time, I will offer each cluster representative nominee an opportunity to explain why they are the best candidate for the position. Other Go Team members may ask the nominees questions before voting. So, Ms. Mittman?
So I think I would be I have 4 children going through the school. So I'm pretty invested direction on the school going. I look for business office, office process, relationships with people at different schools and all of the perspectives. We also have, education background, so that helps my learning when I listen and understand different things. So, does that
Dr. Derrickson?
on the other side? But I'm on the other side of the spectrum where I'm a university faculty, and I do work with the high school and transition to college in different forms, different needs. So in terms of my relationship, I have some relationships at college level, and I just see that opportunity.
So we are up for vote, and Ashley, we can only have one, correct?
I believe so. I'll double check real quick. Hold on.
All right, so before we vote, let's see.
Yes, only one.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so please raise your hand to vote for your choice for cluster representative of our Go team. All right. So please raise your hand to vote for Ann Mittman. Secretary, please record the vote. Any abstentions? All right. Please raise your hand to vote for Dr. Derrickson. Any abstentions? All right. Congratulations, Dr. Derrickson. You will serve as the Go Team Cluster representative for this school year. We will now move on to our next item of business in reviewing and updating or confirming our Go Team's public comment protocol. Public comment opportunities are available for Go Team to hear from interested members of the community from section 3.4 of the Go Team Handbook. Opportunities for public comment shall be provided at least 4 times in a school fiscal year and noted on the Go Team's webpage and meeting agenda. Go Team members will not provide responses or engage in direct conversation during public comment. Each Go Team will determine a consistent method for receiving public comments and for parents and other citizens to sign up to address the team. At least 20 minutes of time will be allotted for the public to make comments at meetings where public comment is permitted, and the public will receive at least 2 business days notice of the public comment protocol. So some tips for public comment protocol from the Go Team Handbook. The Go Team is not required to schedule time for public comment at every meeting. Public comment should be scheduled for major action items that need a Go Team vote, that will require public input or need public buy-in. Consider the schedule of the school community for those meetings that do allow public comment in order to give your community the chance to participate. Set a specific time for your public comment period. For example, you could allot a 20-minute segment on the agenda for public comment and allow each member of the public to have 2 minutes to speak during that segment. At the end of the public comment period, the chair should close public comment and move on to the next agenda item. Post a clear process for how individuals sign up or indicate they wish to speak. Go Team members should not respond during the public comment period. The public comment period is designed to gain input from the public, not from immediate responses by the Go Team to the public comment presented. The Go Team should listen attentively to all comments and take the summation of the comments into consideration when making decisions. Remind the public that a scheduled public comment period on the agenda is not the only means for providing input. The Go Team should encourage the public to contact them via their APS email addresses. Emails sent to Go Team members about school concerns are also considered public comment. If there are urgent matters that need the Go Team's attention, the school can organize information sessions, or the Go Team can schedule separate public comment meetings to gather that information from stakeholders. Please take a moment, to review our current public comment protocol. Okay, so what we have from last year is the agenda should be posted 1 week in advance of a Go Team meeting. If someone wants to make a public comment, they must sign up 24 hours in advance of the meeting to do so. Each speaker will get 2 minutes unless approved for more time by the Go Team chair. A Google Docs form has been created for sign up, and I believe it's right here. Sorry, I need to share the screen with everyone too, so I can see. So that was our last year's public comment protocol. Do we need to make any changes, or does everyone agree? It's a set protocol, but we can make adjustments. So may I have a motion to adopt this public comment protocol? Thank you. A second? Thank you. Follow them on. All in favor say aye or raise your hand. Unanimous. All opposed, please say nay or raise your hand. Any abstentions? Okay. The next order of business is to set the Go Team meeting calendar. Adhering to the agenda, we will now discuss our meeting calendar for this school year. As a reminder, our Go Team is required to have at least 6 additional business meetings this school year. 4 of the meetings must permit time for public comment. Meetings cannot be held during the instructional school day. Meetings must be live streamed and recorded. And meeting locations for hybrid meetings must be places which can accommodate the public, not a conference room. So we have a couple of options. We can go with the 6 meetings a year or the 8. I think the 6 last year worked for us. Do we want to move forward with 6? Right now, well, we'll have to adjust. The fourth Monday of the month seems to work for me. Do we want to take a look at that and see if we can, let's take a look at each month. So let's look at September, which will be our first meeting. We can move into the PLC room. So can we do, I'm looking at perhaps the 22nd of September. I'm sorry, you're right. I'm thinking about the weekend. The 25th. We did Thursdays last year? So Tuesdays, no, because of faculty meeting. Thursdays, I felt like we ran into conflict with principals meetings, but I think this year we moved to Wednesday, so we can try Thursdays. Thursdays are better for everyone? Frequency. No, we probably, sooner the better, probably. All right, so we will set the September 21st. Yeah, let's see what, as we look at our calendars, let's see what works. All right, so let's take a look at October.
Okay, so the first one is September 29th and the 21st.
Uh-huh. If we look at the third one in October, it would be October 19th. I think that's are we on break?
No, it's the week before.
Okay, so October 19th. How does that work for everyone? I'm not checking. Yeah, pull up your work calendars, family calendars. Yeah, October 19th is fine for me. Then we can choose either November or December. If we go with the 16th of November, I think that's clear for me. How about everyone else? We have, yes, we have a virtual option for everything. November 16th? You said no? Okay, let's look at. That November, December meeting is important. Mm-hmm. That would work for me. Everyone else? Then we're looking at late January or February. That one was fine. I think we were able to have a little space for me to work the budget in between, so it doesn't matter. I think that we moved it to February, isn't it? I think so. I think I'm fine. If we look at,
Oh, I feel like we did it January.
yeah, we did January. Okay, so let's take a look at January 25th.
If we go with third Wednesday,
That's fine too, for me. Everyone else? March,
Are you skipping?
well, we could choose between January and February, and I think we were fine.
Okay, the budget is due.
It was due earlier in March or mid-March, I think.
We may have to do 7 or 14. We have to put it in.
I think maybe the earlier in March, the better.
Either February 29th, March. February 29th, March.
I believe I'm open in either one. It's usually in March. And it's here as a no budget approval meeting. So. So we can do March 7th, I believe. Because I think it was towards the middle or later in March. Yeah, hopefully this year I have more of a hang of it, so move right on through it. Okay, March 7th. And then our final closeout meeting, we did it in April last year. It was April 27th, I think. So we can do it somewhere April 25th. How's that look for everyone? I might be off that week. Oh, you can. What day will we, you said the 18th perhaps? I think I can do the 18th. I'll let you know if you have to go. All right, so just as a review, for our first official meeting of September 21st, October 19th, November 30th, January 25th, March 7th, and April 18th. Okay,
Every
3:15. And all of them except when the book fair is here will be at the Media Center, but they have to move to the PLC room, which is just next door. Okay, we also have to decide. Well, let's see. We now need to determine at which meeting we will allocate time, or which meeting will allocate time for public comment. As a reminder, we must allow for public comment at least 4 times during the school year. Now that we have determined our calendar, may I have a motion to approve the calendar? Well, let's first go ahead. Which 4 do we want to do public comment on? Yeah, we have to vote for that. I'm really thinking just October through March. Take September for us to get organized, and then we have public comment October, November, January. Okay. Everybody agree? Okay, now that we have determined our calendar, may I have a motion to approve the calendar? A second? All in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimous? Thank you.
Friday.
Now we will determine our Go Team norms. We'll begin by reviewing the initial Go Team meeting norms. So this is what we have. This is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are here to quietly observe. We will be fully present. We will follow the agenda as noticed to the public and stay on task. We will be respectful of each other at all times. We will be open-minded. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other. We will respect all ideas and assume good intentions. We will approach differences of opinion with curiosity. Does anyone have any changes to these norms? May I have a motion to adopt these norms for our Go Team? A second? All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. Okay, and okay, so we did not have anyone add any discussion items. Is that correct? Okay. So we'll move on to information items, and typically I just give an update. And so, you know, this is my second year. We've had some concerns around safety, so we are having a safety town hall for the North Atlanta cluster, and that will be on September 7th at Sutton Middle School. We put the information out on social media, but I can give the specific time. I believe it's 5:30. I'll double check the time. but we have that. We have a number of things going on around the school as far as improvements to the school. So you'll be seeing some digital dashboards coming to both campuses. Right before summer began, they did a lot of work, and you may not even notice it. It wasn't until I pointed it out that people started seeing, like they came to the PC, power washed all the sidewalks, outside of the building. The next project coming up is to paint that old green that's all around the building to a dark navy blue that matches our logo. And then some of the other areas that, the rails and so forth with a fire engine red of sorts. And we're just doing a number of different things. We are focusing on math. You know, with the shift on math this year, we're going to be looking at that. And we're also going to look at the test scores and what we need to improve on math, while still maintaining a look at and being vigilant about our reading scores as well. And so this year we are looking at nonfiction texts that we did last year, and we saw some good results with that. And so just looking with continuing that work and things of that nature.
So I have a question about math and how that, so I was just kind of wondering what kind of support is needed while they're adopting these new standards with new students.
So part of the beauty of being in a cluster is we start to hear about what each other is doing. And one of the things that happened was organically it just kind of happened. They heard about some things Smith was doing, they had questions, and that resulted in all of the elementary schools in our cluster coming together meeting last Thursday with a coach and some of the teachers to help build lessons and just take it from looking at standards and lessons and actually making it something that they can do. We have Ms. Barnett, Ms. Barnett, who last year was a math model teacher, but now she's become our instructional coach for math. And she has been working with teachers, writing lessons, pulling from the standards, plugging it into the slides, so helping to make the job easier because it is a daunting task. But with her and the help of the entire team, Carla, Jennifer, working together along with the teachers in the PLC, they're planning together, working together. And if there are things that they don't understand, that's the time when we do what's called lesson internalization, where they have the materials and they have what they're supposed to teach for the week, but then they actually talk about, okay, how are we going to teach this? How are we going to get this to the children? And what are some other things that we can add in? So it is a lot, but everyone is working together, including the cluster, and we have a lot of support coming from the district. The district came out of, 2 weeks ago, and especially they took a long, I was with them at DC, very impressed. The teachers were taking it by the reins and just moving through live stuff. Like, for example, we had kids doing 10 frames outside and big 10 frame blocks outside to get the concept of 10 kids will move into one group and make that 10. So a lot of that stuff is happening, and we just continue to work with teachers to help them grow in that. It's a lot. New textbooks, new standards all at one time. But we have a lot of support from the district. So every week they get 90 minutes of planning, and they do other things on the outside and some pre-work. So when they come into the PLC, they're able to just jump into some of the things that they need. And so it's all a work in progress, but we have supports in place, and as we see need for additional support, then we put those. Good question, thank you. And those are that's the majority of the information items I have today. Did we have any announcements? Does anyone have any announcements to make? Go team. So the Go Team G3 Summit is returning this year on Saturday, September 23rd. Join us for a day to learn all about the power of connection. We hope all Go Team members can attend. The Go Team office would like to remind all Go Team members that they must complete their orientation training in order for our school's GO team to be in compliance. Please contact them if you have any questions. So you'll have, for the new members, they're all online training. And you basically go through these modules, and that will get you prepared to be on the team. All right, we've reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business at this time?
No business.
Yeah. Done. We can talk about that at the next meeting.
Okay.
You came in, I can actually tell you, you came in 2,500. So remember the discussions we were having at the end of the year? They were pretty accurate. They were pretty close. So. So basically what happened is with us being 25 under, each student has a certain dollar amount that comes with that. So I also held money in reserve and didn't touch it just in the event that we did come in under. And so that money that was in the reserves helped us to not lose a teacher. So we're not losing any staff. We're just losing money out of the reserves that we had, as a backup. So it was very important for us, and I think as a GO team to lower the class size, because when we came in last year, out of my control, but I think it was fourth grade especially tough. Third grade was huge. So if you notice now, everyone is right around 20 something, and first grade is better than that. So that was one of the things, that was one of the goals that the GO team set forth, and we did accomplish that goal to keep it low. So we'll have a few little other struggles because of that. The money is tight, but we'll figure that out. So we'll talk about that at the next meeting, because I was on the phone with them about CARES, and I feel like we are owed some more money, and so they're looking at CARES to see, and if that happens, we'll be great. It'll be perfect.
I have just some clarifications. So for accepting the meeting norms, I had. Okay. And then, the math coaches and the field people that help incorporate lessons.
So it was coaching. So we have Jennifer Chapman, Paula Lamar, and Ashley Barnett.
And then lastly, on other boards that I sit on, when a member has come in late, they missed votes, we put in abstain.
Okay.
And with this meeting, so like, then miss filling the vacancy. So if we say it's unanimous, then we can. So if you abstain, but you did.
He was voted in when he pretty much he came right.
So then.
Not until we voted them in as members. But once they were members, then they could officially vote.
Okay.
Okay. All right, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? A second? All in favor, please say aye. Thank you all. Hopefully we can get off of these scripts.
You can.
Huh?
You can.
Thank you to all our online people.
And then, so I do type these up and now I pass them to Ann Minden.
Yep.
She starts.
She starts next week.